Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a beer, it's time for some Path of Exile discussion. As many of you may know, I've been running a little bit of an experiment where I've been farming the Armory map, looking for the new divination card, the Patient. And so I ran 30 of them using scarabs, sextants, and the like. Not super juicy or anything, but juicy enough that it would give a bit of a sense as to how rare this new divination card is. Anyway, the long and the short of it is, running 30 maps that were chisel, alched, and adding a gilded paranda scarab, a rusted harvey scarab, and a polished divination scarab. I got the grand sum total of 12 copies of the Patient. So how statistically significant is this? I've run some numbers using a binomial probability calculator, and I can say that it is a 1 in 250 chance that the probability of, or that the average number of Patient cards is either less than 1.5 per 10 maps or more than 7.5 per 10 maps with this setup. It is a 5% chance that it is less than 2.5 per 10 maps, 5% that it's more than 6 per 10 maps, 25% that it's less than 3.5 per 10 maps, and 25% that it's more than 4.7 per 10 maps. But basically, there's a 50-50 chance that it's between 3.5 per 10 maps and 4.7 per 10 maps. And there's a 90% chance that it's between 2.5 and 6 per 10 maps. What sort of number of maps are you looking at if you want to farm your own Headhunter through running Armory maps using these scarabs? You are looking at a lot of maps. You're looking 1,280 maps with a pretty large amount of variance on that because I only ran 30, so it's a small sample size. 1,280 Armory maps, and that includes trading for 1,280 polished divination scarabs, which sounds pretty horrible. So the long and the short of this is, I don't really recommend farming a Headhunter in Armory using the setup I was using here. But it was worth a try, but it didn't really seem to work that well. The Gilded Paranda scarabs did work pretty well though. I did get 2 exalts from Kadira deals. Rusted Harbinger scarabs dropped, their ancient orbs as they were expected to. I think I only got 1 of the patients from Harbinger monster, and I got maybe 1 from a Parandus monster. The rest were sort of mostly from either ritual monsters. Oh, yeah, probably 50-50 ritual monsters versus the normal monsters in the map. Now, if you did want to do this and try and run this much more seriously, and I'm not going to do this myself, one option that you'd have would be to make a fractured fossil base for an Armory map. So what you would need to do is source a tier 15 Armory map that is Shaper influenced or Elder influenced. My recommendation is that you go for Elder influence. You'd be looking to get this in trade, or alternately Zana does sell them. So Zana can sell, that's not what I want to do. Purchase items. Sometimes she will be selling maps that are Shaper or Elder influenced. When you get one from her, what you will then want to do is go through an extensive process. I need to make a new guide to fractured fossil bases. Essentially, this is a very high investment way of creating an Armory map that would be 100% delirious and that would absolutely disgorge a staggering amount of scarabs when you're running it. So that's an option, but that's a pretty advanced option. Generally speaking, I would say that the best way to farm yourself a Headhunter via mapping is simply to do something else that generates a lot of currency and to use that currency to then trade for a Headhunter. Buy it 1 Doctor card at a time. If this sounds daunting, if running enough maps to stockpile 80 exalts sounds daunting, then I would suggest that it is far more daunting to run 1,280 Armory maps with various sextants applied. That's the sort of thing that will burn you out on the game if you're not someone that's a bit of a nutcase like myself. Anyways, gonna leave it there. That's the results. Don't recommend doing this, but by all means, give it a go if it sounds like fun.